through the shadow of loss. They must endure and seek what hope they can have for the future, no matter where it is. But can they really overcome it? On the eves of tragedy, both in game and in real world. Can they really succeed? Greetings. This is Freenair Reamentra. I welcome you to my recap of Critical Role's Age of Umbra, their Daggerheart miniseries, in a world, what you could consider like dark, edgy, post-apocalyptic fantasy world. Well, amongst the ruin of the Halcyon Domain. And this is the third episode. Normally, this is where I would tell you what I would call this episode in light of in absence of them having their own name. But like partway through, when I need to recheck on what character name was, what I was trying to think of, I noticed that like on the previous episode, it says next episode, it did in fact already have a name. Making you feel like these are all really, I think all of them, they may have already shot the entire series already. So. But to this episode, what is gained? What is lost? Before I continue, I must point out that I do not own nor am I associated with Critical Role, its YouTube or Twitch channels, any of its, nor any of its other online presence. And nor am I associated at all with the Daggerheart game, outside of maybe a few homebrew sweat. And also, guys, get someone to look at this seat. Neat, but, sorry. Late to finish watching this. Anyway, as usual, though, I must also disclaim that I will be having clips on this. Most of the criteria of the clips are as follows. I'll occasionally you do something of important stuff, especially if it comes before a break or the end of the episode. Sometimes it will be important, like game mechanic information being disclosed. Also, I will always show when they introduce a battle map. However, the most common in clip being showed, and all these clips I intend with use of, are included with fair use of mind, are comedic moments. Because their comedy can be very hard to replicate just by words. And now let us get into tonight's into Age of Umbra. What is gained? What is lost? Okay, it's not really wrong, which I hope they do include. Because fun fact, because of work and getting I only started watching when they're in midst of the intro. Thankfully, so this will be the first time for me hearing their actual advertisements. So I'm going this unprepared.
Matt, I know you think my ads are stupid, but the fine folks at Darrington Press must enjoy them quite a bit, because they plunked down a pretty penny for this ad spot.
I really don't think they did, actually, Sam.
Jeez, jealousy does not look good on you. The Darrington Press have good taste, and they want to remind you that Daggerheart is out now and ready for your creations. Did you know that you can make, publish, and monetize your own Daggerheart content with the Darrington Press Community Gaming License and Daggerheart System Reference Document?
Nailed it.
You can! In fact, if you play your cards right, you see what I did there?
Maybe
you can get rich on hope and fear and write a check to sponsor one of these shows just like Darrington Press did tonight.
Again, Sam, I'm pretty certain Darrington did not pay for this ad.
You just can't accept the fact that I am a beloved, sought-after fact! That I am a beloved, sought-after advertiser's dream. Can you? It's not always about you, Matt! Learn more at darringtonpress.com/license.
I'm
or
trying
Daggerheart. Daggerheart.com. Matt, a fuck to you.
Cool. Last time Darrington sponsors us. Liam, you're up.
The hails
that was my outfit.
of our 10th anniversary, our partners at Sideshow just released this. A Decade of Destiny, the Critical Role collection written by Amy Chase. This is another beautiful book. The book dives into the design and development behind Sideshow's official Critical Role collection, showing concepts to finish. I've been hit so much of this table. Showing concepts to finish collectible on statues, art prints, and more. All from our campaigns. Look at it all. Get behind the scenes insight, commentary from us and the Sideshow creatives, a foreword by Travis Willingham, we know him, and a cover by Jordan Torrance. Jordan Torrance.
There it is.
What the hell? The exclusive edition is limited to 500 copies.
Oh, really?
And features an alternate cover, a collector's slipcover, extra vellum artwork pages, and more.
Ooh.
You can check it all out now at side.show/destiny.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Ooh, and it's got a little back. Ooh, and it's holographic. It's holographic. Oh, it is holographic. Oh my god.
Pass it
Oh
away.
my god. It's like a limited edition Capri Sun.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
Just as tasty. But I believe that concludes our announcements for this evening. So let's go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of Age of Umbra. Hello, everyone. Last we left off,
Oh God! Honestly,
our troop
I was
had
scared
delved
to start this episode all
in
week.
the
I'll explain why
Rizal
later.
vaults until they reached the monastery atop the Firmamen's Harrow, where they had uncovered Velk, who had given in to divine ideas of destiny before being corrupted by a sourceless shadow seemingly erupting from the statue of one of the veiled gods. You battled the swollen, monstrous, feral form of Velk before casting him from the edge of the cliff face to plummet to his death within shadow below. There you inspected the surrounding ruins of the outer aspects of this monastery, uncovered some useful relics of the old world, and opened a sealed reliquary box at the base of the statue, upon which a substance was inhaled by young Erin, who was helping unlock this reliquary. Her cough progressed into a fever, and as opposed to pressing on into the monastery, you chose to bring her back to seek help and recovery in Desperlock. There you took her to the local healer, who treated her infection. You went and met an ally of Snix's, who was able to give a little bit of context and information for the skull that was found within the reliquary, before upsetting him. And upon your return, you were given information from Truvo the Hedge, the local herbalist healer, that this was more than just a simple infection. Some of the Umbra shadow seems to grow within Erin. When you turned to go and see if she was okay, she was gone. And the core of Desperlock village was filled with dark smoke. The five of you pushed into the core and found the sacred pyre gone, quenched with the blood of nearby townsfolk and the pyre keepers that stood watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at this moment that you see Erin, little teenage Erin, standing there, turning back over her shoulder towards you and smiling.
Brixton immediately runs to Romand on the ground.
You rush over and see you.
Oh, that's 2022. She goes over the head, one of the main pyre keeper, Ember Wardens. She has been bisected and there is obviously bereft of any life. As she looks around, she also sees her friend and fellow Ember Warden, Corbin, and on the other side of the pyre, she can't get a good look at him, but he is he or she, I forget if it's he or she is unmoving. Brick starts just apologizing to them for not being here. And then, one last warning about as we get to one of our first true clip of the episode. As I watched this live and recording immediately after airing, technically a little bit, it's still technically a little bit airing when I started recording. And everything on this is on, all times. I may have to play around with the start of these clips because first up, to check what time it started. That because I'm not realizing that this is something I need to record. So some of these are just our guest time slot.
Slithers and moves quick from within the robe.
Oh, jeez.
For just a view of placement here, I'm going to set something.
All right! We're something visual aids! Guys, Daggerheart's available now wherever you buy your
don't
games.
buy it though. Whatever you need, don't play with it.
So definitely buy it.
We swear that long rests
The amount
exist.
we've talked about
You can't
this.
get long rests.
If you're young, it will age you from the stress.
Oh,
Yes.
snap!
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, look at that! Oh my god, that looks so good!
Oh no. Oh no, no, no.
I love it.
Oh no.
Right there. Is
Oh,
there
she's-
I think
down.
she's supposed to be down. I think
Yes.
that might be
No, I stood her up.
Roman.
So you have rushed up to Ramon there. The rest of you have been rushing over from this side.
Where was the tent she was in? Is that visible?
Right
there.
there.
Okay.
This is
Wait, the tent that who was in?
that Aaron was in.
Aaron
Oh,
was
and
in,
she
yeah.
walked over there. Gotcha.
It is much darker here, as there is no central flame. And the sense of terror and realization of no salvation for Desperlock in this moment washes over you. As Aaron's body begins to swell and extend, you watch as your skin begins to turn sickly green, her eyes rolling back into a pale, pupilless white. You watch as 2, 6, a dozen of strange extended tendrils begin to whip around from underneath her cloak. You see, and what you can briefly make out, these long tentacle-like extensions that kind of drag and shift and curl. Where there would be suction cups, instead there are rows and rows of small fingers that move.
God! What?
What's the matter with you?
And as she looks at you, her mouth opens. As dozens of red, slick tethers
I'm out.
No!
This one is supposed to be.
Wow,
That was so cool!
That's not Aaron.
Look at the little girl. You guys, I don't think Aaron's in the room with us anymore.
I think we
Give
can
you
call her
that
back.
Nearby townsfolk are starting to step out to see what the
Yes.
commotion is and gasping in horror at what they see.
Stay back!
Run.
Charge forward!
Send the vigil!
What are you doing?
Ah,
What in here? And what they do is, Misty starts by using her rally ability to give them all a rally die. I forgot what denomination that dice is of, but it will give them aid. Then Isle begins the attack with a bolt beacon.
Yep.
oh, they don't wipe at the end of the session? You don't.
Your
fear
hope
don't
doesn't go
reset.
away.
I know. But
We just noticed is that right now Matt has a stock of 11 fear to empower their foes with.
wouldn't it be nice? Does that hit?
That does indeed hit.
It does indeed hit. Okay. She's now, whatever it is now vulnerable. 6, 8, 10. 10 points of magic damage.
She's vulnerable.
Vulnerable. This spell is essentially a guiding bolt from D&D, which gives it will take advantage. I should say it, for this is no longer Aaron. This is a limb wreath. The bullet hits it makes a blow, but as a result of the damage, it spends a stress to detach one of its writhing tentacle arms on the ground, creating another smaller adversary for them to deal with. and upon being dislodged, it can immediately take action and attack and goes into attack Idol for 2 damage. So it's just a minor thing. So but it'll still annoying. But then the main body of the wreath does a tentacle barrage, attacking once again attacking Idols along with Misty and Styx. So Styx dodges and while Idol succeeds in a save, he succeeds in a check. Misty is pulled in to melee with the creature. Also, those who took damage from it, in addition to taking any damages because it is referred to as terrifying, also deals 1 stress. The loose limb is then at spotlight again and continues its assault on Idol, but misses this time. August goes airborne and declares to everyone, gather the scores, everybody run. He means the townsfolk. They are staying to fight. The party is staying to fight. Brixton managed to score a nice blow on the wreath. On the limb wreath, but it drops another arm or tentacle. Wreath then uses its taste of blood on Misty, inflicting 12 damage. Edge, though she uses an armor to reduce the threshold. Unfortunately, because of its taste of blood ability, it heals. It clears 2 of its HP. So this thing has a self-healing from damage. This will be a tough fight, physically as well as emotionally. It does another tentacle. It does another. It lashes out with a tentacle again against Styx, but who dodges. Then Misty retaliates with Wild Flame. Sadly, that also misses. It then launches another barrage of tentacles against Misty, Styx, and August. Though Brixton uses I Am Your Shield to protect Misty and take the damage too, which because of her ability which she uses 2 of her armor slots because of her ability to reduce the from major to 0. August manages to dodge, and while Styx manages to use the armor, but because the only one still takes damage, is the only one too. Styx then uses his boomerang and lands a crit on, taking out a tentacle. August uses his I forget if this is a direct spell or codex thing, but it's his armor. The armor he was granted to, and he grants it to Misty. He grants the magical armor to Misty, but when he goes for a power push, it fails. And unfortunately, that can't be said for the next attack on him. A direct hit. He manages to reduce it was a low hit, so you can use it was just 1 armor slot. It's reduced to nothing, but still loses armor. And it was a taste of blood, so it's the wreath heals again. Well, then Idle activates his holy weapon, the banker, but it misses.
Both of them.
What happens if we TPK here?
And I pick up with Liam and
Leave
Laura.
Laura?
But we're still wondering where they are. Are the Lily just holding them in reserve in case they lose people?
Comedy.
I mean...
No,
Well,
we got this.
welcome to Age of Umbra, y'all. All right. That finishes your go. You go and
It then uses a barrage tentacles to pull in. I forget if it was barrage tentacles, but it definitely uses tentacles to pull in. Idle. It then also attacks Nyx, but Brix uses an iron shield to protect him.
For we get
I can
absolutely
shove.
I need a hope. If anyone has a hope,
I have a hope. I could help. I could try to.
I haven't had hope in 2 games. I have had no hope.
We need to give you hope.
So I could use some. I'm gonna try again. I just need some cover. Well,
And Misty grants that cover by obscuring him with his wings. And so that August can now use another power push. This time successful. Pushing him far distance. But the reef then uses stress to drop another tentacle. And hits Brixton. And it then uses its living tentacle, which marshals some of its already detached tentacles onto a single target. In this case, Misty. Uses armor to reduce. It combines their damage, but these things are like 2 points of damage per hit or something. So it's it doesn't leave the minor range. Brixton then hits for 7 damage. However, and it try to use another detachment, but it misses. But misses Idle, its target. Brixton uses it uses taste. It uses its taste of blood ability again to on Brixton, who manages to reduce it to 0 with her armor slot, but it's still you can get the healing bonus because it still gets acceleration. It's the actual process of it's the way method in which the Simon that does the damage. It can still take stuff to heal. But Brixton, this does cause her to lose her last armor slot. And also
physical damage against you.
Oh,
What's your health?
that's 3, but that would put me into major damage. I will use my last armor to move that down to minor. And because I've got that Valor Stone, I can roll it.
Is the Valor Stone in your armor? Have you embedded it into your armor?
I mean, my armor is Gambison, Do I have to like tinker it?
He's
or
wearing
something?
it in his butt.
Right. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you want to consider yourself having attached this to that gambeson armor, I'll allow you. But it is now permanently embedded in that gambeson armor.
Right.
Great. And the Valor Stone has been permanently affixed to your gambeson armor.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll a d6.
Come on, roll 6.
Have any additional context?
That
Good.
does not help. Does not help me. Where's the armor? And I take a hit point and a stress. Or 3
yes.
stress.
No, you take 1 stress.
Okay. Whew.
That is my turn.
Get these fucking things
All right.
off of me!
May I?
There's no fear.
I am going again
It's been,
to try to.
it's been, he's been hitting hard, but and to get pointed out later, his creature has just used up all right. He's currently used up, as you can see, all of his fear, and and now Misty goes in, and aided by August, uses wild flame to burn the abomination, and hitting the reef and 2 of its tentacles, both of which are destroyed. I'll use his spirit weapon again, aided by Misty, for 13 damage on the wreath. And because if you can hit once, you can do a second attack, which hits the tentacle, destroying it. The wreath uses marks off its last stress to drop 1 more tentacle. Because it's used all its stress, the wreath is now vulnerable.
To help them.
Yep.
I'm trying to. It's okay. I'm trying to instruct the audience who's watching so they don't miss.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
You're
I'm
not
vulnerable.
instructing us. You're instructing the audience.
Sorry, vulnerable. Right.
Hold on to it, but
Hold on
hopefully,
to it.
hopefully I get a hope.
She's losing! She's losing!
Well, the good news is, I rolled with hope.
Okay, so you
Hang
know.
on, wait, let me just see what this is. That's great, that's good. 4, 5, 7. 7 with hope.
You get a hope.
So you get a hope.
I can help by
But you do
misses.
swing wide and do not find purchase with your blade in the limb wreath.
No!
I rolled a 2 and a 1. So fun. So
So
great.
fun.
So fun.
Limb wreath returns to me. I do not have fear to spend on any of its special attacks, so it's just going to limb slam you. Since you are there.
Limbs.
Nice.
I rolled a 5. I rolled really. I dodged.
August tries to guess on a spell, but it misses. And it's retaliatory, but it retaliates with a tackle hit, which does hit. And he marks off another armor slot.
Whack it and try to push it into the embers.
Nice.
I get a d6 because it's vulnerable.
It's vulnerable, yeah.
Okay. Skapow! Oh my god. Incredible. So many. Wow. 27, 28, 29 to hit with hope.
That hits.
Wow.
Yeah. And I will mark a stress to do the kick attack. And this is a d10 plus 2d6.
Go kick! I'm so evil dead too.
8, 9, 10, 11 points of damage, but it goes back towards the embers.
How do you want
Yes! He's getting these!
Go kicker!
Wow.
I spot some embers that while the flame is out, there's one ember that's sort of sticking out from the fire that's on a sharp stick.
Oh.
And I'm going to aim and kick it right towards that and hope it finds.
You kick it, it kind of like arcs in the air.
And I'm watching with my square eyes.
It impales on it. And the tentacles wrap around it and kind of burn as it kind of holds onto that embered spike. And it starts to pull itself free. And it draws itself off of that jagged, pointed spike as it lands. It turns back at you, but it's just gushing its internal viscera. It brings the tentacles back to swing one at you, and it whips, but the strength has left it as it crumples to its knee. And then falls to the ground. The tentacle that stands up dissolves. And the lymph dissipates. Until it's now just the
This is why
currently
reality is.
unmoving, no longer human, but no longer alive form of Aaron.
They just remembered this was their friend.
She should have stayed where she was. Can we run around the pyre? I'm looking for any sign of Garrett.
So Aaron was kind of a hard thing, especially since even if she's a kid. It's especially hard. It's a little harder for me to hear though. This past week, on the main road that the street I live off of, live right near the entrance to where the street I live on meets this main road. Within sight of where I live. I didn't actually witness myself, but there was an accident involving a teenager. The kid did not make it. The last few days I've been kind of dreading what the outcome of this would be. I didn't know the kid personally. But it was like this right after this real world event was a little unnerving. Kids are still gathering late at night over there, the spot there. In morning. Doesn't really sound like this and stuff, and I hope they're actually giving this to memorial to the kid and not just an excuse. Because it sounds, I'm starting to have my suspicions, but anyway, it was a kind of difficult scene to watch, especially what happens next. As people come in and some of the heads of their come over, such as Beryl, the female orc who runs the smithies. And they start reporting what happened, and that's from there. Then Garrick arrives. Demanding to know where his daughter is. And it's up to Idle to explain what happens, that she's gone. He can't really comprehend this stuff. Not until he looks over and sees, even if not in form, her huge form, his daughter lying on the ground. If you want to see the action, not sure why you would want to, but if you want to see just to watch the original episode, go to Twitch if you can. If you don't. But come Monday, there should be a link to this episode. At this point, the townfolk hearing the coast come over and are return. They are despairing. They are in shock. They're crying. The heart of the town, the source of their safety, the pyre of Despelok, is out. They are now vulnerable to not sure if you could call it machinations, to something which doesn't seem to have conscious thought, but they're at risk of the Umbra coming and destroying their town. Beryl says to Gath, the Triarch, the leaders of the town leadership, while looking to Ghost tells to gather what visuals they have, increase the watch. Without the pile stuff, they need to be extra vigilant this night. They go with Beryl to the forum where the Triarch meet. There, Trevor of the, I forget his last name. One of the other Trevor said, "Is there they see I drove the I think elven woman who leads the scholars there, asking what took our pyre out. What took out our pyre." Idle then recounts what happened during the mission and what it led to there. Truvo responds to the parts he was privy to and confirms their authenticity. So they're trying to figure out there. Idle, of course, at one point does ask, "Wait, you were at the monastery?" They explained they were just outside, but paths open. Guide shows where some of these certain people's priorities are at. Idle, by the way, as head of it, is also the final member of the Triarch. The Triarch. We know that the only other other Ember Warden besides Brixton who's left is Trivav. She's still alive, but she's highly shaken. She's like senior member amongst them. She helped pick out and raise them as from children. And states that they do need a new sacred branch to the only thing that can restart the fire. But they haven't heard of one in so many of an unused one in so many years. The scholars decided that they'll have to try to work through the night to find any reference to any branches that's still out there. Well, I think Trevor was like the main head of the vigil. It says, but he brings up that the wall will hold. The defensive walls can hold up for a few nights. Like they'll be harder, or they'll have to still be able to go out to protect it, but it should be able to hold out at least until the next Umbra wind. But it's unlikely to survive that it will withstand that, especially since it could go right over it. The Umbra winds are unpredictable, but usually only come around do have at least determined a minimum grace period. Usually, they observe. Unfortunately, it's been a while since so they could be considered due for one. The one thing is determined right now is to keep the townsfolk calm right now to avoid any bad decisions, which could affect most of the town now. With at least this determined, and with need of new ideas, they decide to end this meeting and reconvene in the morning. once they're circle, Idle goes up to Trevor and asks where the front line will be, where it will be most used for the saving of the town. It is unsure. Well, they have no idea where that might be quite yet. The group does maintain that they will stand with Idle on whatever for what must be done. For whatever they set on next. The Ember Warden trio and Brixton then talk to each other, and both are apologizing to the other, each one blaming themselves for it. Like, if Brixton had only stayed, if Triva had prepared them better. But the elderly Ember Warden tells Brixton now is just be that next to the pyre is not the only place for an Ember Warden to be, and especially right now. Triva is a little too old to really assist in what needs done. What needs to be done, but says to Tristan to do what you need to do wherever you need to do it, and the flame will be with you. Will go with you. Though her tone of voice causes worry to Brixton, who asks why she's speaking as if she will not live through the night. The Triva claims that, says that it's not that she doesn't expect to live, but she's seen the despair there. But this is still a hard blow, and she still needs to process. For the first time in living memory, Desperlock knows true fear. As they all break off and decide, and they discuss what they do, and determine that right now they need to get their rest after all that's happened. Misty goes over to Pyre and tries to use her wild flame on it to reignite it. But it's unsuccessful. You can't just use any flame to restart a pyre. August goes over and comes to her saying, "It's good if you can do it. If you can't do it, then no one can right now. Then no one in town currently can." He also expressed his worry about what the lack of a pyre means, saying, "I think she can find us now." Misty decides to stay at the pyre all night. Brixton goes to sleep holding the personal items of the fallen Ember Wardens. Six goes to sleep holding a very large collar. We not fully explained that yet, but I have theories. And Argos talks to Garrick. He's over. He starts to look apart, and Garrick puts his hand on his shoulder, saying, telling him it's comforting and saying it's not your fault. When you first met, you were the only reason she got out of there alive. And with her personality, it was quite frankly just a mad time before in this digital world before she got herself over her head to recover. After talking with him, he just goes and sits by the woodpile.
stake burning with a body up in cloud. And others just return to that stillness, that blip in time that leads you to the next sunrise. For some, it's flashes of a golden face, looking to parting clouds. A stake burning with a body above it. A cathedral filled with purple light. And a shining, tall crown of promise beyond the doors and steps. Far, far from here. And that's where we're going to take our break. Be back here in a few minutes, y'all. We'll see you shortly.
What?
And welcome back. So, you've all managed to get a long rest. So, for that, you get 2 long rest actions to take as part of your downtime actions. Means you can tend to all wounds. You can clear all stress. You can repair all armor. You can prepare, which means you gain a hope. And if you prepare with somebody else, you may each take 2 hope. So as long as 2 get prepare action.
It takes a while before he talks about something they
you
had
can
to
also
consider
work on a
now.
project. If you had a project you wanted to work on over time, whether it be like crafting things or researching a thing in particular.
There's one thing I was
Not
thinking of
necessarily pertaining to the story if you don't feel it. Sure, you can take a good
My
start
outline.
beginning if you want to. But those are your options.
Well, I literally make it myself.
I also gain 1d4 fear plus the number of PCs.
1d4 plus the number of PCs.
That's
So
4
you
plus
get 9
5.
fear.
Oh, that's all.
Your dice to clear
What?
stress.
Crap.
Because I had.
I also used your dice to clear stress.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
So I'm done with stress.
You know what that
I
means.
will use.
If
I
If Laura
will
and
clear
Liam were there-
hit points and repair armor.
Yeah,
Carrying
that's what I'm
armor.
gonna do
Yeah. I think I'm gonna do the
Boring.
uh, they would
Does
have,
anyone
you would
want
only
hope
have
or
one
no?
more fear to
Okay.
gain.
I never say no.
Oh. I think
Never
it
say
means
no.
like prepare together.
Also repaired armor.
Now, you don't gain new hope at the start of the day. So outside of rolling, downtime actions are how you gain hope.
My prayer dice are good too. That's just the beginning of each session.
And I
Correct.
finally get my unstoppable back.
Unstoppable!
So you know what I'll do at the beginning of the day? Just the morning. I'm going to use my Troubadour Gifted Performer card. And I'm going to use Heartbreaking Song. So you and all your allies within close range, when we're close together, gain a hope.
Okay, so all of you gain hope. Are any of you using...
Us too?
Everybody.
All of you gain one hope from her ability.
She played a sad song.
I played a sad song for...
Does anybody
song
want to
for Aaron.
spend a keep watch action? Because there's currently no sacred pyre keeping the lurking darkness at bay.
I was planning that I was keeping watch last
You
night.
have stuff you needed to read.
But I mean, I also
She's
get
got
my
her
fancy thing.
Oh.
I can technically take a long rest with a short rest. But if I use one of those actions,
Plus we're desperate to get never vigil around too. It's
Yeah.
not just us.
yeah.
Right. So, you don't have to. You can just risk the dice roll.
Oh.
No one's keeping watch?
What do you want to do?
August ends up keeping watch. He says, Missy will volunteers too, but like over the table, they tell Ashley that no, Missy needs to clear her stuff off. She's far too low. So he managed to roll 10, so nothing happens stuff. they choose to keep it. Though Matt did let us slip that he actually rolled a 12, so if they go with that, not only would nothing would happen, nothing bad would happen, but they would also each gain 2 hope, like a hope or something. So that was kind of a slap. But anyway, they all start waking up. They see a lot of villagers out, all armed, though they're armed like different farm tools and pitchfork. Even some just holding rocks and stuff, ready to then defend themselves. They return to the forum. Raskello and the other head delver is. I didn't get his name. Beryl, who I do have down as Beryl Speedward, a Spielward. I used to have the power speech. Most of the Vigil's leadership is there, though. Except for those who needed to man the increased patrol, increased guard. To the side, they can see 2 bestial corpses being prepared. They were attempted incursions in the middle of the night. The scholars who were after research say that they have 2 options to go. Locate some possible unused branches, sacred branches. They may locate a couple of. They've identified locations they think may have them. Some. The other option, another thing to consider, is to try to get supplies from the nearest settlement with a prior Volcuru. They would, if necessary, would have considered actually like relocating the townsfolk there, but they may not have a supply spare be able to host them, nor even if they could be willing to. They're kind of more closed off. Letting messengers in as such, next, but definitely won't be looking to take in a huge number of refugees. They claim that there should be a branch located somewhere in the Gilded Shambles, Gilded Shambles. But the area is known for having a demonic presence there, who in the night whisper words to lure people away from safety. There is another branch in the area known as the Barrows. A tomb. This specific one should be located at the tomb of a heretic saint. One that was because it was sealed off, and therefore may be safe from the Umbra, and it's the safer option. The Triarch decides to send 2 groups, one to each potential location. With Ghost leading a contingent of Vigil to the Shambles, while our party heads to the tomb.
Oh no, we're leaving.
Yeah.
This is something you would still have the wherewithal and bravery to step towards.
Oh no, we're leaving.
Yeah, like I thought.
Blister goes,
You could.
Again, they do wonder what the title is. Like, they do not know when the next Umbra wind is. They're not. They can't really be predicted, but the closest estimate is they come around every 6 to 12 months. Problem is, the last one was 7 months ago, so they're technically within the zone. So it could be a couple of months off. It could arrive tomorrow. And this is where they receive a map.
Of Eleonora, and sets upon the layout.
Yeah.
Desperlock sits this way in the jungles of Eleonora, the Uzal Monastery. Trevor points out you would have to travel across the sunken rampart to Volkoru, the next sacred pyre and place of safety. Also, the possibility of gathering materials, possibly other information, whatever you can find. They can be a bit stoic. They are largely elven, and many of them have lived through the majority of the Age of Umbra and have been hardened through it, so just be prepared. Above that, you'll have to travel through the Screaming Forest. Until you...
Screaming forest.
Idrova goes...
It's ironic. If they don't scream, don't worry
It's
about
not
it.
ironic. Idrova goes... a quite dangerous space of corrupted nature. Best to move quietly and quickly throughout. Trevor takes up. You'll have to reach and get through the Amber Gate into Amber Reach itself. There are multiple paths through the city, across the drowned sprawl. You can decide which quarter seems best. I've not been there, and I've heard very few good things about it. But I also know that there are some who withstand the shadow and the chaos throughout Amber Reach. So perhaps if you look to the various pyres, some may be friendly, others maybe not so much, so take care. Traveling through the Amber Reach, eventually the Astro Foundry sits towards its northern apex, and beyond that, the Barrow of Blind Repose in the Idle Hollows. This is where Ghost Hook and his team are traveling.
So I know how to at least get them most of the way there.
You know how to get them into the Amber Reach, but you've only probably been just past the Drowned Sprawl, and you have not gone deeper than that, because, one, the Ashcall Quarter, where the Silesian Athenium is, that is a locked-off fortress that is perpetually surrounded around its base by terrifying creatures and twisted, lumbering bipedal things that just wait. Like there's something within that Athenium they all seek.
That's the nearest pyre.
Next question after that. So he can only really lead them, be effective leading them part of the way there. They do ask if they wonder if they could travel with Ghost Hand's party for the rest of the way, but no, he needs to leave a little sooner, and it really doesn't have that. And well, there could be a path that leads them for a little bit with them. It would still be a little bit out of the way, and they need to take the quickest route to the. And both parties need to take the quickest route to the location. So, speed is of the essence. And I'll just try to see if there's any way of avoiding the the Screaming Forest. But the only way otherwise there requires him to be a good swimmer. Something apparently he's not something he's not known for. The entire journey might take a week or two, barring any major complications. Keep my major being relative term to this, like, this already incorporates a lot of, like, dangers and counters stuff. But it's a week to the barrels,
I've killed everyone we've met.
Wow.
It's true.
Put it like that.
You want to run and do the deadliest?
yeah.
Which is dead weight. I'd kill us as soon as we're asleep.
Beryl Spearboard comes up behind him, pats you on the shoulder. her sharpened tusks, one that holds a strong brass ring in it, kind of leans forward. And you have been traveling all throughout the wastes as of late.
They said because he doesn't know them personally, the barons that run on what's it called again, the town they're going to, the one they're thinking also trying to get supplies from, the barons there, because of his message, they might know of him. Oh, right now what they need to do is stock up though, on provisions and stuff, which might be hard because a lot of towns now without the ceasefire are going to be a little bit aren't going to be as free with their stuff. What it's important to do, especially for like getting new supplies, is out for the town all the time, is what do they have for trade? A big thing would be something of the old world, but they have use of that, the stuff they have already. It'd be a big sacrifice for them at this point, with the dangers they're facing. They start their training in town. Most people are actually packing just in case they emergency have to leave. And,
sleeping gear, some blankets, some things that just give you a little more comfort. You get there, hard pressed at first. You do manage to talk up a little bit. I'll say as far as general kind of loot capability with what you get there, you get some travel sleeping gear, some blankets, some things that just give you a little more comfort on the road. Most of your living spaces here. Living spaces. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, 6 months.
How I came first and fourth, summoned by the Umbra itself.
I couldn't stop myself. Just channeling my brother.
Oh, shit, man.
Not that one.
So, you do get
so traveling tents. Other thing, some important tools like a crowbar. Also does manage to stack one stamina potion. Ghost Hook is about to leave, but before that, he spots watching the group. He spots Isle watching Marty and calls over and says he's kind of been worried about his presence there. Notices a glow echo. He recognizes that the somewhat divine power within Idol. It says that it could potentially help them and stuff, but could also be their doom. He's not sure. When they get back, it'd be him getting back and how he returns might be a good way of proving his worth. Because he might not be willing to take chances on him in the current situation. But also tells him to do whatever it takes to complete the mission.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, see that.
And when you return, let it be in celebration. And not at swords. Pat, pat. Travel safe, Idol.
His hands are like boulders. It's insane. It's like getting hit with 5 rolls of quarters. So cool.
And they go and visit the parks collective where the scholars work. They go talk to Sally, the one that Styx's acquaintance, the once Richard now sought, recommended them. As August starts talking to him, and as he does, takes off his jacket, his other stuff, and reveals his true self to that, which kind of alarms her. But he says it's trying like he's like passive hiding, and people should be passive caring, like. And he's down to this point after all he and Misty done. And any time would have to say a bad word against them. He then shows her the skull.
Oh, I have
Almost
those.
through history, man.
I'm going to bring out the rest of it in the.
Oh,
Notices that it was kind of broken.
it shouldn't have come off. Well, it's done now. Okay.
She goes and does say after looking, she does find a sketch of a silver skull. But no, it's not just silver, it's that exact skull.
Jaw. This is the skull of Vashathu, of the Broken Call. They were, what's the word I'm looking for? They were a silver-tongued devil. Yeah, they had begun to, it says here, leak blasphemy into the ears of the faithful, and had begun to infiltrate the halls of Luzol and the Cinnabar region of Amber Reach before being tried and sentenced to execution. But during the execution, it looks like shadows of which it had pacted with began to protect it from the blade, and in a great holy conflict was struck down and bound, its flesh carved from the skull, its bone made sealed, and its shadow kept at bay, and was sealed within the monastery. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Shit. This is quite a find.
Yeah, all of that
definitely tracks with what happened up there.
What?
There was shadows and ichor and some blind, faithful
I'm listening.
ravings. Before Vilk died, he was just gone mad.
Wraps it up.
Prayed and
Yeah.
Should have left that alone.
Good. Good. Got answers. Fruitful.
Sorry, I continue. Like,
Cool.
Should have left that alone.
more of these little friendly ones. Hopefully it'll help keep you a little more lively on the path there.
Amazing.
They're talking to Truva now. See if they can get
Long trip.
stranding.
Healing potion. Does anyone want to hold on to it?
I got one.
I got one.
You want to hold on to it? Hold
on
on
to
to
it.
it.
Yeah,
We can always trade
She's nearly
these.
Yeah, we
died.
can trade these.
I wish I had more around here, but well,
Their truck's
we got all
fine.
we got.
They keep talking and stuff. He keeps holding a lot of stuff. The one thing that truly worries him is the kids who may not fully comprehend what's going on, but they prepare to regather with their supplies. Styx quickly heads off to his tent to retrieve the giant collar from last night.
I won't let the same thing happen to them. And I'm gonna wear it as like a belt.
It's that big.
Yeah.
Did you have a big best friend?
Do you have a John Wick origin story?
John Wick.
Someone shoot your puppy? Yeah. Oh.
All right.
They officially regather and meet at the Slag Gate. And with that, with the town there to see them off, Ghost has party has already left, so the most of the town is there to see them off as they head off. Nick says we'll leave at the start. Can at least get them to Volkuru. That's what it was called.
Arc and shift Y births around with the sources of these various sounds. At one point you can hear the distant, heavy, thick footfalls and feel them almost to the ground as something massive is lurking through the
Every time.
I love it so much.
For it.
Always at a comfy place.
Those are footfalls. Those
I
are
think it's
footfalls. Okay.
quieter and quieter.
So
Sound
it's
you
the
haven't heard
party.
before.
Nope.
But something massive is lumbering through the jungle.
Do you know what that was?
Something massive lumbering through the jungle.
You all stand still until eventually the footfalls get quieter and quieter. And whatever it was, it is passed beyond your path. As the day continues onward, eventually the jungle begins to thin, and another sound catches your ears. I love it. I keep.
What they hear is the crashing of waves. They hear the ash sea off in the distance. As they hear the sky as they keep getting loud, the sky grows darker, and it's the end of the day. As they rest for the night, as August starts, and Aquan gets a little, still shows signs of being more nervous than the rest. And that's why they said, like, tomorrow they will reach his former home. They will reach the Screaming Wood. They have to be careful going through there. And they ask what specifically to be careful of. He says how in this woods there is a temple, complete with the catacombs. Inside are this sticky amber substance, made bones to lure people, and dwelling within in this temple is the Queen Mother, who may or may not be his biological mother. I do not know. It's kind of clear at this point. But she's unhappy that Misty and August got away from her. She is a very dangerous entity who likes to play with food, which could last for days, which could last for like weeks or even months. And that's assuming she doesn't want to play with her in other ways. She has a knack for changing people. And it reveals that she was the one who implanted that moth on his back. This temple is where he actually met Misty. She was a statue that was being carried by... that was being carried by a family who was traveling through that region. And she remembers being there and being light. Keep in mind, though, she thinks she has memories of the statue from before she inhabited it, so it's hard to say. You mentioned it'd be a good idea to keep both Misty and August hidden while traveling through. As they keep talking more, it starts raining. Sorry, they didn't stop for. I said before they stopped, they didn't. They decided to travel on through the night. And they reach where the bridge is to cross a river, but the bridge seems washed out. Or maybe not even washed out, as giant footprints are around. Oh. Thinking what they may have heard the other day, they came through and trampled over it. The river that they would have crossed this bridge is 20 feet across and very swift, so it'll be difficult without that bridge. They'll need 4 successful rolls to get across. Ida decides to attach a rope between all of them. The barman to help them go. Make sure no one person gets swept away. But he did roll but Travis did roll a 3 on that.
Yeah.
Just that just
You
Lost roll.
You skipped me.
Last
Just-
3 games. I thought you meant like just
Oh, I go.
not.
see in Daggerheart being the lowest possible roll.
Yes.
Without getting a
2
crit.
would be the lowest.
That's right. The 2 dice, though, you can roll. You can between 2 numbers is 2, but that would require a 1-1, which is it doubles is critical. So
That would be a crit.
That would be a crit.
Yeah.
You are correct.
3 is the
So I
So he literally does the worst roll.
This treacherous.
So Idle, you
Only going. Yeah.
you
only
tie
The worst roll without modifiers. And Misty tries entering the first. Has to fight the undertow. Rolls a 10, which is a success, but barely. Like Brixton goes on with a 20 there. Snick's leg gets caught by a vine on a log that's being pushed across the bottom, but manages to free himself narrowly before being dragged.
You alright?
They almost got me, but I don't have feet, so it just
Good
slipped
thing
right
those
off.
knots are so sturdy. What'd you do?
you remind him.
What is this?
How do you have both ends?
I made circles.
I'm going to spend a fear immediately to use an undertow action on you because you had rolled so poorly with the tying earlier, and as part of that, the rope becomes free. And all of a sudden you realize everyone else is tied together. You forgot to tie yourself to it.
Snakes!
This was your rope.
I need you to make an agility roll for me.
I'm not worried about it. I should have been 6.
6. You all watch as Idle, the rope is loose in the water, and Idle beneath the water before appearing about 20-30 feet down the river
Halberts
and
are
is trying to tread water. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going.
Although tries to cast Ice Spike to give something for him to grab on and himself, he is aided by Misty. He manages to roll a critical success. Idle not only manages to grab onto it, but also use the force of the water stuff to propel helping him climb up the spike to get to the shore. At this point, everyone has crossed except for Snicks and Misty. It's kind of, well, the water is nearly up to here. Kimaya tells you. We learned that she still needs to breathe. It's not traditional breathing where, like, right? It helps keeps her in her body as the connection weakens as she gets more submerged, urged for a longer period. Brixton managed to grab the rope and pull them the rest of the way to the shore. They can see the sunken ramparts. Or it's the partially submerged portion of the defensive wall, the formerly defensive wall of the Amber Reach. Others managed to conjure a life, and they decided to keep going a little bit. They can see, thankfully, it's very good. They can see off in the distance a pyre. Volkeru's pyre. They'll also note off in the very far distance beyond where they can comprehend, another star like a star shining low, the size of another pyre. During Session 0, I do believe they mentioned that there's one big pyre that can be seen from all across the land. How did we? And they go and they finally reach the ramparts. And that is where tonight's episode ends. And with that, all that's left is to show you my homebrew of the evening. To start off with, we'll have the Faith Healer of the domain of grace and splendor. Of like a charm and socialization, and of heal and the powers of life and death. Spellcasting trait, presence. Starting vision sword 8. Starting hit points 7. To start, you can have, for customers, you can have a tea making set or an incest burner. For a faith healer's hope is that when a creature in close range clears HP, mark hope to have 1 additional hit point cleared per 2 hope spent. As for the main feature of the class, Faithful Deed. If the next roll after using a domain card is made with hope, you can clear 1 HP off of yourself. However, if it's made with fear, you mark off 1 HP. Then you got your subclasses. Carney, which is the placeholder name for this so far, because the Faith Healer, since it may be healing, but it's also all the grace of there. So while it's talking about faith and belief and stuff, they're also been known to be sometimes a bit of con man, so to speak. However, the foundation of this is when you roll a critical success, you can clear 1 stress of an ally within close range. Instead of just clearing 1 stress yourself during a critical success, you can clear someone else's as well. While their specialization on the other hand, you can mark 1 stress to roll your hope and fear die, then choose 1 creature within far range. Subtract your fear die from your hope die, hope die minus fear, and if the result is higher than the chosen creature's range HP, clear 1 of their HP. Basically, meaning also the lower they are with their hit points, the more likely they are to be able to heal them with this. And then mastery of Carney is when you succeed in a non-combat presence roll, you gain a hope even if it was made with fear. Then you get their congregation in Faith Healer. When you roll a critical success, you can forgo clearing 1 stress to clear 1 HP of an ally within close range. Your specialization, however, is that when a creature within close range takes damage, make a reaction roll and reduce the damage by half the result. And then mastery, when an ally within close range rolls with fear, mark 2 stress to make a reaction roll. If the result is higher than the triggering roll, the GM does not gain a fear. A feature I'm sure which her class had. Now we have the Herbologist, domain of splendor and sage. A natural healer. Trait knowledge. Starting vision 8, starting hit points 9. You start off with either a book on flora. Know your herb lore, or silver shears to help collect needed ingredients. For herbalist hope, you spend 3 hope to remove 1 condition from a creature within melee range. Then their class feature, pharmaceutical supplement. When you roll a critical success, you can substitute the normal benefits and add 1 more domain card to your loadout. This is additional. This is, you get 1 more thing. However, the first time after its first use, it must be returned. And to your vault. You may only have 1 additional domain card because of this feature at a time. The subclasses. The agricultural herbalist, who is the one more likely to stand their ground. If you haven't moved in 1 minute, you have advantage on all knowledge rolls. Specialist. If the target of your attack hasn't moved within 1 minute, the attack is made at advantage. Mastery. When you use your Herbalist Hope, you roll your Hope and Fear dice. Subtract your Fear die for the hope. It basically the same thing as It was something similar to what was used before. Basically, if you roll, if you subtract your fear, if your hope minus fear, and the total is greater than the remaining HP, you clear 1 HP. This one though automatically happens, and after your Herbalist Hope, which only works on a critical success. So then you got the Forger. This is the one who will search for what they need. If you have been moving for 1 minute continuously, like every turn you also use movement and keep doing, you have advantage on all instinct rolls. So equal and opposite to the first. Then you got then for specialization. Your next attack roll is and its subsequent damage rolls if you hit increase by the number of domain cards used since your last attack, or if you haven't attacked a while, if you've used it within the last minute. Then Mastery. When you use your same thing as the first, but instead of hang on. Instead of clearing a hit point, both of your evasions increase for and you have to result to your wrong thing. Add to your evasion for 1 minute. The result of your hope minus your fear. Finally, we have the Shepherd, the domain of valor and sage. The trait is your spellcasting trait is presence. Your starting evasion is 7. Well, your starting hit point is 9. For class size, you can start with either a straw hat or a walking stick. Nothing too glamorous, but Then you hear what your shepherd's hope is. Once per long rest, spend 3 hope to manifest a non-flying beast companion. The companion, yes, it is a companion class. The companion has hit points equal to your levels in Shepherd. You determine its appearance, but the GM can set limits on its size. Its trait total is equal to your trait total, like adding up all that stuff, but -3. To determine you determine its traits, how these points are then spread out for each upon each manifestation. They all be the same each time, and you can also like have some of your scores go into negative to further increase the other one's value. But you can only have combined negative scores equaling your shepherd's level tier. The companion uses your hope and stress, but can't generate hope unless the hope dice is 2 or more times greater than the fear dice. Man rolled. It disappears at the end of your next long rest. Then their class feature, Tending the Flock. Mark 2 stress to mark off an armor slot to reduce the damage threshold of damage of a creature within close range of you or your companion. You can mark off your own armor to help protect someone else. Then you have your then there's your subclasses. The Tamer, who starts out with when you manifest your companion, select 1 Sage Domain card from your vault. And this thing, which is used by your companion, you yourself do not hold onto it. Your companion does until they do some specialize. Then you got your specialization. Instead of manifesting companion, you can choose to turn an existing creature within far range of you into your companion. Make your presence roll against their presence roll plus their remaining HP. They have advantage if their knowledge or instinct scores are higher than your knowledge or instinct, like your corresponding rate. And you have disadvantage on your roll if they are already hostile to you. Which, considering that for this to be more successful, a lower HP creature, a creature who's already lost some HP, may be better, means that there's a good chance that you'll still be hostile. It uses its existing traits, not your own, and it is released from your roll after a long rest. And then finally, on Chamber, you got Mastery, which means your manifested companion can now fly. Please note that the not only bold but all caps manifested, meaning that this only works if you create the thing. And if you want a flying, if you want to tame a creature, it already has to be able to fly. You can't make it be able to fly. Right after making it your companion. Then you got the Rancher. For Foundation, it's the same thing as the Tamer's Foundation, except instead of a Sage Domain card, it's a Valor Domain. For Specialization, your companion can now generate hope normally. Like, not just if it's your hope roll is twice as good as your fear roll. And finally, you can now manifest one companion per 3 hope spent, meaning you can aka when you manifest, you can summon more than one companion. Please note this increases the number of companions you can manifest at a time, not the number of times you can manifest. Like, if you only have 3 hope now, if you spend now to manifest now, until you finish the log hope, you can't manifest anymore. You still can't. Or it is just if you have loaded up on hope when you do this, you can make more. Though, by the way, it doesn't say this, but they'll all be using the same domain card. For that, I thank you for joining me. This is Freener Readventure, and I wish thee good fortune on the quest of life.